a Dredfunn original production. Please sit back and enjoy.
Hey guys, Dredfunn here with another one of my how-to videos. We are going to be doing Charmander of the Pokemon. Going to be doing him with tea. So this will be pencil, ink, and then finishing with tea as our color. Kind of like I did my Pikachu. So I don't know, this is a Tea-mander or however you want to call it. But this will be the image I'm going to be trying to reproduce here. And here we go. Again, I like to use my mechanical pencil. For this one, unlike with the Pikachu, I used a much more fine line with my pencil. I'm going to just sort of hash this guy out here kind of quick and use almost like what you would call a scribbling technique, kind of. I'm going to use that just to get a basis for the body. Get a basis for everything here, and I won't actually clean it up at all with the pencil. I'll just go over with my ink and make sure I get it all. So here we go with the arms. Again, this guy's only got 1, 2, 3 digits and then a little thumb piece here. And he's got another arm that sort of slopes down here. And again, you know, it's sort of bent off like this. I personally like Charmander. I think he's one of the cooler Pokemon, especially his evolution into the other characters. And I think he will make a very good tea drawing. So, yeah, I'm just hashing out where I want to put everything. He's got 4 claws here, so I'm just going to basically lightly put those down. Again, the leg sort of comes up here. Hopefully you guys, if you're following at home or you're just enjoying this and watching, either way, he's got another 3 here. 1, 2, 3. And then he's got a cool wonky tail. I can already tell I want to bring that down a little more. And bring that up. And there we go. Now, what I'm going to do already is I know I'm not going to detail any of this area here with pencil or with ink. I'm actually just going to do it with the tea and using my layer technique. So now we're going to hash out the head here. I'm going to bring this cheek more over. That's good English. Yeah. Again, I'm hoping my colorful personality starts coming through in some of these videos. I've never actually really talked much while drawing, so this is a really new process. I kind of actually prefer to have no talking. The only external sense I get, the only thing I really do is I listen to videos and I listen to music and stuff, and I tend to not want to have to think or do a conversation, so it's kind of hard. Here we go. With Charmander, he's kind of like, well, he's a lizard-type creature. As we found out with Pikachu, you know, he's a squirrel-like mouse-type thing, so this guy's definitely going to look more like a lizard. Now, when you're doing the mouth there, you want it to be pointing down. And it's kind of fairly wide here. And then he's got his nice little smile, little cleft thingy there for his chin. He's got a tooth sticking out here, tooth sticking out here, one here, one here. And then he's got that teddy bear underbelly type thing, I don't know, or what I guess lizards would have. And there we go. So overall, I mean, for some, this might be a hard drawing. For me, not so hard. I find just laying out these images like this actually kind of stressful because I tend to do things and measure them quite minutely. So doing this all in a freestyle and filming it all and talking, it's kind of tough. So I got my Micron pen, number 5, waterproof. It'll work well with this. We're going to just sort of ink over the eye. Again, you can use a back and forth technique. I find with the pens, if you get a nice micron, that just going like this and following through with a simple stroke like that actually works pretty good. Now, already I know I'm going to have some issues coming up when I start to color in his eyeball, or both his eyes. So I'm going to darken that pupil part the way it is in there. Get his little eyebrows. And then we're going to sort of come up and get that rounded dome. Again, I'm not trying to be perfect here, and I suggest you don't try to be perfect at home. I mean, just try to get the feel. This is more, practice. It's a good activity doing this kind of stuff. Especially, I do a lot of pencil work professionally. I do portraits and stuff, so doing this kind of ink work is nice. It's more like what I do with my comic books. And, Pokemon in general definitely have an influence in comic books. They have that anime style. So here we go. We got the one arm done. And you'll notice that when I've drawn in the pencil here that the line goes all the way up. It doesn't actually go all the way up in the drawing or in the actual image. So I'm not going to do that line all the way through. Again, this fella only has the 4 digits, and his thumb sort of pops up there. And then you got to do this part and get across to his hind legs, back legs, or I guess he's a bipedal creature, so these would be his, just his legs, because he has his 4 limbs would be arms. And he eventually evolves into a pretty randy, nasty looking dragon type thing. All the fire and stuff. He's got these little baby claws here. And then his knee comes up over, and we finish it all up there. And then again, this little underbelly part. And we're going to get the tail too. Like I said, I find this using just a simple straight line like this and not going back and forth works better for saving time and ultimately makes it look cleaner. So if I gotta go with a thinner pen, like I'm gonna do his mouth, I'll just get a thinner pen. This is a 03. The last one was a 05. So his nose is like these tiny little square-like thingies, or not square, triangular. And then his mouth comes down, and it sort of goes up in a smile. Put those little teeth in there that I think are positioned strategically to make him look as cute as possible. Whoever designed this fella did a good job. Did a good job with all of the creatures. So this is the basis for Charmander. Like I said, I got the image here. It's not an exact perfect replica, but again, we're not trying to do this. This is just an activity. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and erase my little lizard there. Make sure my tape's down nice and tight. And then I'm going to get my 2 brushes, my 2 Simmons. This is a round one and a fine liner. Pretty base when it comes to that. Now, already I can tell, in order to get the colors right, we're going to have to lay down, well, basically, you're going to have to color the guy, everything except for his claws. Yeah, you know what? Maybe not. Actually, I was thinking I was going to color that all the way through with the light tea color, but I might actually leave that in the underbelly completely white to match with the claws. And what I'll do is I'll actually just lay a single layer down. So we're going to go ahead and add our tea. I like to stir it up a bit. Make sure it's nice and good. I got a little sheet over here. Make sure it's clean. And we're going to go ahead and start painting in our tea here. There we go. Like I said, it smells good. It smells way better than most watercolor paint. And it definitely smells way better than my waterproof ink. The Speedball ink that I use to paint with, or use to ink with, I should say. It's probably the stinkiest stuff I've ever smelt. It's like somebody's dirty butt. And having your nose stuck to that for hours on end can be depressing at times. So yeah, I'm going to color everything except for that little area there, which we're going to leave white. And you can already see, like, just the same thing with the last one I did with Pikachu, who we called Tikachu because I'm using tea. It's a nice light color. It's almost like a yellowish orange, I would say, or a yellowish brown. And the finished product looked pretty good. One thing I want to point out, you'll see that the nostril is starting to bleed a little bit. That unfortunately happens. You should technically let these things, let the ink set for a while. I don't usually with the pens because it's rather controlled, and since I'm only using them for the outlines, it doesn't make a big deal. Some artists, not to name drop, but like Mary Doodles online, she'll go ahead and just go crazy with the ink. I do that on occasion too, mixing it with the water and doing all kinds of effects, but for this I wanted to keep it nice and clean, so oh well, I put a little bit too much ink in that nostril as opposed to that nostril, or the tea hadn't dried, or the ink hadn't dried completely before I added the tea. Either way, it's not a big deal. We're going to be coloring that over again. Again, because this creature, these guys have these, I guess it's called cell animation, and they do these single line colors, so I'm going to do that with the underbelly here. It'll probably be the only time I color this underbelly, because the rest of them is going to get another heavy coat of tea as soon as this all dries. So, looking good. I'm kind of happy with that. I noticed that some of the tea is kind of heavy here, and I don't mind that. I'm actually going to leave it, and we're pretty good with that. So I'm going to let that dry through the magic of YouTube and stuff. The next time you see me, it'll probably be 24 hours later. I will have let this dry completely, and then I will go ahead and right now I'm just doing a little bit of the fire. It'll actually look pretty neat if I can pull it off. If I can't, oh well. And then I'm going to use my fine liner and go over that area with the tea to sort of darken it. So for now, kind of happy with that, and we're going to let that dry. You at home watching and drawing along won't notice any shift in time. I'll just magically be back. Alright, so we're going to add the second layer of tea. Just noticed something too. I got a little bit of pencil line here. And get rid of that. Don't worry, you can erase over top of tea. Doesn't affect it in any way. Alright, getting my sealed container of tea here in my high-tech jar. You can tell it's a Play-Doh jar. Anyways, so keeping in with what I've already got here with Charmander. You notice that we've got the white there, the light that matches that. I'm then going to go and actually darken the entire part here, leaving this and the teeth and that part of the tongue exposed. So that'll be the original layer. I think in total, this puppy's going to have about 3. So we're just going to stir up my tea. You're ready to start adding some here. Alright, we'll start up on the head. Like I said, don't be scared to add it. Just be careful. Unlike what I've noticed, unlike using watercolor paint, the tea itself does not tend to stay on the brush. It can drip off. And I'm noticing that I've got a few pops up here where the page is kind of, well, it's not flat, and that's going to affect the way the tea pools around the edges. So I'm actually going to pin down a couple more spots here with some tape. Doesn't look pretty, but the end effect is much better, I find. So there we go, that's good. I want to get in there before that dries. So yeah, I'm just adding the second layer of tea. Again, I'm going to try to keep that area white, and I already screwed up a little bit. Oh well. Can't be perfect all the time. Now, when painting with tea, I find many things are different. It's kind of a frustrating medium to use. So anybody that has ever done this, hats off to you. It's not easy. So here we go. We're getting the body covered up with more tea. Again, trying to get in there on those limbs. You want to have a fair amount of tea on the creature. Charmander once it's done. Like you see, getting it to pool around over there. Don't like that. A lot of neat little shade that I'm not intending, but oh well, what can you do? Alright, I'm gonna get you know what, I might have to start taping the entire drawing down to the table, or using a board to tape the drawing down, just like with watercolor paint. Using this treated watercolor paper, if you don't tape it down or don't like hold it as flat as possible, you'll have these little ripples. And I mean, I've used them in the past as a way to make something slightly darker without actually having to add another layer of paint or pigment. So I mean, you can use it. Right now it's unintended. I did not want that to happen there where it's pooling around. So I've got the entire body painted with the tea, and I'm gonna, again, it's really cold in my garage slash studio, so we're actually gonna go ahead and tape the entire top part down to my table. This will help. You'll start to see that this will it'll make it a little bit more even. I'll do the same thing down here. God, this looks ugly right now, but what can you do? I mean, I'm actually trying techniques that I've never done before, so I'm kind of learning along with you at home. It's kind of a neat process. Like I said, I can't mention it enough, but the kids I work with at the Y, we do a lot of projects that, again, I just have a cursory knowledge of what to do. I don't really get deep into it. Yeah, I think that's going to be better. So now you'll see where this tea, I'm just going to pull it back a bit like that, have some of it sort of smooth out on this side. It does take a fair bit of time for the tea to dry, so I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. But before I do that, I just want to place this, as I said, more over on the cheek area here. As I said, it's a neat little technique that I'm sort of picking up on. I'm learning as I go. I want to get that eye darker, which is going to go in with the third level. So this tea that I put down here isn't going to actually get any darker. This will be as dark as the layer is. I then might go ahead and, well, I'm going to go in and shade certain celled areas. Alright, pretty happy with that. I'm now going to switch over to my slightly smaller one, my Simmons fine liner, and you'll notice that the fire over here, there's no hard lines or anything, and it kind of looks pretty cool as it is. So what I'm going to do is probably just do 2 levels on this, or 2 layers, get myself a good amount of paint on it, or paint, haha, tea. I'm going to go in here and hit this area, like so. Yeah, that's neat. I like that. So, learning something new as we go. I actually saw quite a few people over the past, see right there, that's where the tea sort of builds up on the edge. I don't know if you saw that. It's like a big drop. You don't necessarily get that with watercolor paint. I mean, it will pool around the edge, but I don't know if they put some sort of solution in the paint to make it hold better to the brush. But tea has none of that. So here we go. We're just going to move that down a bit. Give it a few of these, sort of make it look fiery. And I'll probably actually add a final layer of tea to the back part. So, interesting to note, we're dealing with these poolings of the tea. You know what? It's not bad. It's too bad I couldn't control it a bit better. You never know. Maybe I can. Maybe I can do something with it. Maybe I can stick something under there. Have it pool over to the one side. Look at that. We're learning as we go. Alright, so I'm going to pull this up a bit. And I got another piece down there. And we're going to stick one of my pencil lead thingies underneath it. See if that helps. Getting that paint over there. Again, not the paint, the tea. There we go. That's nice. There we go. Not bad. I'm going to take another one, and I'm going to pool it under this side here. See what happens. I might ruin this whole darn thing, and you guys will never see this. And I'll have to do it all over again. But thus is the way I approach these art projects. I tend to just go with the flow, see what happens. You know, I tend to take my penciling a little more serious and get a little more into that. But this stuff, like I said, it's a project. It's something I'm learning more about as we go along. So there we go. We got the tea pooling down in here, and I'm going to try to get it to go over there a little more. Perfect. Not bad. So it's not too bad. I think I like that. I'm going to leave that as is, and we'll see what happens. Again, it'll probably be a few hours before I tackle another layer. You won't notice the time, but anyways. Alright, so we've dried her up again, and I'm now going to add what's going to probably be the final layer of tea here. Just going to get my tea stirred up, and already noticed that you can see right here some of the tea kind of made this weird little I don't know what you want to call it, a pucker mark. So I'm going to just leave it, no big deal. Going to try to cover some of it up with this here. Yeah, there we go. That'll be nice. Yeah, so I'm just working on a final layer here. I'm just adding some of the tea in here. You can see it does darken it, not a whole bunch, but it does do it a little bit. So we're going to do that, and going to hit the tail too. And bring it right down to about there. Maybe add a little bit more. And then I'm going to switch to my smaller paintbrush, and we're going to hit the arms and stuff. Yeah. Well, it's a fun little project. Like I said, my Charmander is a little different than my Pikachu, but I like them both. Anyways, I'm fine. I'm not getting enough, so I'm going to switch back to the big guy. There we go. That's nice. Got a little bit more under this side here. A little bit here. There we go. And I'm also going to do one side of the head. Right down here. Yeah. And we're going to bring it around the first part of the cheek and just sort of covering a bit of the I guess it would be his snoot. And then it comes down here. There we go. And this little area here. Nice. Now I'm going to also try to add some paint, some tea into the eye area. I just want to try to get it a little bit darker. As you can see, it is working a bit. That's a fair bit of water on there. Shoot. Oh well. There we go. Not too bad. Alright, now I'm going to switch back to the smaller brush, and we're going to add another little bit of layer on the fire here. There we go. Not too bad. I'm liking that. And like I did with Pikachu, or the Pikachu, add a little bit of shade underneath them. Not much, just a bit. Like the way the claws are kind of dark, light. It contrasts nicely, just like the teeth. Kind of what I was hoping for. So I'm not going to get in there too detailed. A little bit here, a little bit there. There we go. And that is pretty much my Charmander. So if you joined along at home and had fun, I appreciate it, and I'd love to really see some of these drawings. So if you want to check out my Dredfunn / Facebook page and send me some of these images. Anyways, don't forget to sign your drawings. That's always important. So I'm going to put my signature down here. And my name, Dredfunn, and always put a date. Because I film these, I I don't normally put an actual month or day because I never know when I'm going to actually upload the video, so I tend to just put the year. I do a lot of work. I mean, this past year alone, I've done, gosh, over 300 drawings, so a lot of work. Anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and check out some of my other time lapses. Dredfunn out.
This has been a Dredfunn.com production. Thanks for watching.